Hello and welcome to this episode of Digital Transformation Dialogues presented by Dassault Systems in association with the Economic Times. In this discussion series, we are going to talk to industry leaders across sectors to understand the technology trends and how they are leveraging technology to not only be more competitive but also to ensure sustainable growth in these disruptive times. In this episode, we are going to have a discussion with Mr. Bhuwan Lodha, Chief Digital Officer at Mahindra Mahindra's automotive sector, to understand how Mahindra Mahindra is leveraging software technologies to not only enhance its efficiency, but also to be more competitive. So, Bhuwan, thank you very much for talking to us. Tell us, what has been the approach towards the digital transformation at Mahindra Mahindra? What are the key pillars?
So we have three key pillars when it comes to digital transformation for us at M&M. First one is all about customers. Now this includes consumers who buy our vehicles and fleets, but also our partner users like suppliers, dealers, and so on. So a lot of effort is being put on making sure that the experience for our customers is seamless, transparent, and simple. Second pillar is about manufacturing operations and supply chain. Technology has played a key role in ensuring that we are able to keep our manufacturing operations to a certain extent lean and also intelligent. At the same time, the third pillar is that of our product development and design. We use a lot of technology when it comes to designing a car or building a car, but it takes years and a lot of hard work to actually perfect a process that goes into building a car and taking it to market. So the first pillar focuses on consumer customers, second pillar on manufacturing operations and supply chain so that we can build at scale, and third is ensuring that we have the right technology used when we design our cars and when we design our experiences to customers.
I see. And tell me, what are the key initiatives that have been taken by your company in this new, let's say, new phase of leveraging digital technologies? Of course, it's not the first time that it's been happening in the industry, but maybe at a far deeper and far greater level as compared to earlier times. So can you share some examples of which are the specific areas where you have really deployed these technologies, and what are the benefits that you have reaped out of it?
Gone were the days, even in 2019, when customers would walk into a dealership and start their discovery process or look at a vehicle and say, yes, this looks like something I want to buy. The footfall in dealerships are going down, they have been going down. Pandemic kind of took it to the next level. Coming to manufacturing, which is our second pillar, a lot of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, AR, VR, machine learning, etc., made it possible for us to do things that were not thought through earlier, like creating digital twins, like making sure that the quality of what we produce at scale is always consistent, like ensuring that we are able to take control of our defect rates and predict a defect from occurring before it actually occurs. And also in the third pillar, optimizing processes and ensuring that we are able to connect front to back all the way from when the vehicle is designed to how we procure parts, and then how it is fitted into the vehicle and tested and simulated and so on. So I think we've taken a lot of initiatives. I'll give you a couple of examples. First one is about customer journey itself. Like I said, even pre-pandemic, the need for digitizing customer experience was very high. At that time, what we started was, in order to address the point where we had to meet the customer where she was, instead of waiting for a customer to show up at our dealerships, we pioneered the usage of virtual reality and brought this concept of bring the showroom home. So no longer a Mahindra customer would need to visit our dealership to experience a vehicle. They could just call our dealerships and a virtual reality set along with the test drive vehicle will be delivered at home, and you can experience the vehicle in a virtual world, change colors, change the variants, add accessories, etc. in a virtual world, and make decision to buy or go with the vehicle only after you've seen everything about it. Fast forward that to post pandemic, of course those high contact devices are no longer fashionable. We've moved to a web world in which, for example, our XUV 700 can be fully configured in a virtual world sitting in your home in a browser. Right? You can experience the vehicle in all its glory, in 3D with all its color, all variants, all available accessories, go inside the vehicle, check how it looks, come outside, open the doors, switch on the lights, open the sky roof, etc., and then decide is this the vehicle. It takes a lot of effort to build this for customers, but once
at this point, I'd like to ask you is that these interventions of digital technologies, has it also resulted in a different level of, let's say, different level of customer engagement, or maybe at some level also has an impact on the brand recall and things like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's start with the industry. Industry at large has moved from physical awareness and discovery channels to digital awareness and discovery channels. When we meet our customers for the first time at dealerships or at call centers, most of them have already decided what they want to buy, right? So for us to be able to stay in the consideration set, it is important that we are available digitally for customers to meet them where they are. So of course, being in the retention has increased quite a bit. Beyond that also, if you see the amount of time that somebody spends with the brand, that for us, for example, in XT 700 has gone 3x. Our website, average time spent on our website has gone to 3x from where it used to be for typical and similar brands. And that is because we've created experiences that customers find engaging and experiences that help customers make an informed choice and decision. Apart from discovery, the entire booking and owning a vehicle is a process which has traditionally been very offline. With pandemic, we accelerated our journey to making the entire ownership journey of a vehicle to come online, and we launched what we call Own Online, in which a customer can, of course, discover the vehicle, in all its glory, make a decision on whether she wants to buy it, and then actually go through with the booking online itself. Not just booking, she can apply for finance, she can apply for an exchange, she can also look at quotes from various insurance providers and so on, and a sanitized vehicle was delivered at doorstep of a customer after it was ready. So a lot of that has been done. After the first initial phase of pandemic was over, the actual problem was on the supply chain and less on the discovery side. So we're doing a lot of work on ensuring that we're able to get to a predictive supply chain, get to a point where our throughput of the plants is as high as possible. At the same time, the first time right FTR rates of our different stages in the manufacturing process are technology enabled and are much higher than they were.
In fact, that's where I'm very curious to understand more about that on two areas, especially on the manufacturing side at your plants, getting, as you said, especially in the development stage, getting first time right, and also from the sourcing side, especially when you have to tackle or kind of preempt some problems which could arise because of some supply chain challenges. So how have you leveraged technology there?
So technology is here to play a huge role when it comes to efficiency of manufacturing, and not just in auto, but actually in general the manufacturing of India is ripe for technology to play a pivotal role, and it's happening right now. Specifically in auto sector, what I've seen is things like testing and digital twins are becoming more and more important. One example I can give you is when we test our engines, they are tested in various stages, and it takes a certain amount of time and effort to test all the engines. With use of AI, we have now been able to achieve a fully scalable digital twin of our testing environment of the engine, which has access to all our supplier data, all our historical test data, and hence we have the ability to predict whether an engine is going to have an issue at a certain point when it is tested. That gives us, of course, the benefit of selecting the right engines to test for a certain type of test, but at the same time, once an engine is identified, finding out what could be wrong, it could be a supplier part, it could be a process early in the downstream cycle which could be wrong, and hence the cycle time that it takes to get that corrected has gone down. So, in that sense, efficiency of our operations is also going to go up as technology becomes more pervasive.
Right. Also, I think with the inherent advantage of digital technologies, it helps in also in kind of tracking and traceability of any, let's say, in the case of any kind of fault or any kind of problem, to kind of really pinpoint the exact root cause and and rectify the problem in minimal time, right? So on the manufacturing side, another trend which is smart manufacturing, again, kind of leveraging the digital technologies and enhancing or optimizing capacity. So could you throw some light on, especially in your organization, how are you kind of leveraging that? How are you progressing on kind of adopting smart manufacturing processes, and what kind of tools, if you are you're using towards that?
So I think auto sector has in general been a pioneer when it comes to taking manufacturing in India to the next level. There are a few things that come to mind. One is, of course, trainings, right? How we train people on certain operations and how we train our systems to do what they do, because there are a lot of robotic operations also in the plants these days. For people, we use AR, VR nowadays quite extensively in order to ensure that people who are going to do a certain job are fully equipped with the right information and skilled with the right set of techniques to be able to carry out with perfection. So technology is playing a huge role in ensuring that there is no wastage of time in training people or to do a certain job, and we have trained manpower available. Same time, advent of technologies like AI is or mainstreaming of technologies like AI is giving us the edge in ensuring that the same kind of knowledge can be fed into machines, and machines can also adapt to situations when it comes to things like welding or painting and so on. So a lot of those efforts are ongoing, and of course we are at Mahindra also, we are kind of making sure that we stay on the cutting edge.
And also when it comes to deploying technologies, especially digital technologies, are there also any challenges that you faced, especially in certain areas of operations, or or across your operations within or outside the plants, and how have you kind of worked around that?
The biggest challenge is to bring everything together, right? It would have been much easier if we were all greenfield, but being who we are, and the industry in general suffers this problem because there have been different types of systems set up at different times. We have multiple plants which have been set up in different times, so they have different types of machines which have different types of data. We have systems, we have invested in systems in different times, and hence those systems have their own maturity. The real challenge is to do front to back integration, which means having data from your vehicle, from your customer, from your dealership, from your workshops, from your R&D, from your plants, all come together and create an environment in which you can actually personalize experiences and bring out insights that are actually going to help either the bottom line of the company or the experience of the customer. That, I think, is the biggest challenge. With newer platforms that we are implementing, we are trying to bring a lot of data in a common place. Once we are able to do that, it will be much easier in general for us to serve our customers with a lot of personalized offerings and services.
Bhuwan, also talking about technology, the automobile historically has been a canvas of technology, and the auto industry, I think, if I may call it, the playground for technologists. But with enhanced capabilities of all major players, there is not much of a difference when it comes to let's say in-house technology capabilities. So are you also witnessing a different set of factors kind of influencing the choice of the customer or the buying decision?
That's a general trend in the industry. The product itself is not the king anymore. What matters more to customers these days, especially to new age customers, is the experience with the product and experience with the brand. And hence, I think if there are two things apart from the product that need to stand out in order for an auto company to win in the market, it's one, the experience, and second, the beauty. Right? These are things that you cannot copy. An experience that you get when you visit a dealership, experience that you get when you visit our digital properties, or experience that you get when you interact with our call center agents and so on, needs to stand for what the brand is. At the same time, the beauty of how you feel standing next to your vehicle you want to own and how the vehicle looks next to you is something that I think is going to take center stage. So design and digital experiences, I think, are going to be the added two factors apart from the product itself, which is more and more becoming, like you said, commodity.
Therefore, are you also kind of engaging in discussions with your, let's say, supply partners to ensure that if not at par, more or less there at similar levels when it comes to digital technology adoption, which will enhance, which will aid for better supply chain and therefore more efficient production systems and things like that?
Absolutely. I think it's important for us to work with our suppliers. Flowing data, whether it is capacity data, quality data, or manufacturing data, all the way through the supply, through the value chain is not possible, right? Because the auto industry is set up in a way that there are tier 2, tier 3 suppliers and so on. So it is not possible to go to the last nut and map it on the system. But as much as possible, we are working with most of our big suppliers and ensuring that we digitize as much as we can and ensure that most of our planning, most of our decision making is done on platforms that enable us to meet those targets of reduced time to market and better cost.
Lastly, Bhuwan, you are responsible for the digitalization or adopting digital technologies at Mahindra and Mahindra's automotive sector. Which are the areas you think there is still scope to deploy digital technologies, and kind of what kind of benefits do you think they could kind of result in?
Of course, there is a significant amount of space for technology to make inroads across the three pillars that I described earlier. But if I were to distill all of that into something which is common, it would be personalization. When you look at it from a customer's perspective, being able to personalize communication and being able to meet the customer where she is and with the offer and with the product that she is expecting, I think is the personalization that we need to get to. Also looking at operations and manufacturing, the goal is to be able to personalize our manufacturing process in a way that we are able to build or manufacture for a batch of one. Right? So, I am able to build the car that you want.
Highly exclusive.
Exclusive with the things that you wanted and as you would imagine your perfect car to be. Also, when it comes to our supply chain and our product design, especially being able to design experiences that can adapt to customer needs and being able to design systems which can change your vehicle to adapt to your personalized preferences, I think is the future. So, overall I think personalization is going to take a center stage when it comes to deployment of technologies and extracting benefits out of it.
Indeed, the journey of the automotive industry has always been interesting, and with increasing deployment of technology, it's getting even more interesting and exciting as well, and not to mention, of course, innovative, more innovative. Of course, at ETAuto, we'll keep a track of it, and of course, we'll also keep a track of all the developments that, interesting developments that will take place at Mahindra & Mahindra. Thank you very much once again, Bhuwan, for having this very interesting conversation with us.
Thank you for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this inaugural episode of the Digital Transformation Dialogues. We were in conversation with Mr. Bhuwan Lodha, Chief Digital Officer at Mahindra & Mahindra's automotive sector. Thank you. Goodbye.